to stay with the firehouse. He's just graduated the fire academy, so he was able to do, more stuff with the fire department. So we decided to stay. The day of the storm, early in the day, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we had an inch of water in the house. So I said, well, if this is the worst, we're okay. We were not worried at all. About 6 o'clock that night, we heard his chief had called us and said that the storm surge was coming. I didn't know what that meant, but we moved the beds up into the loft bedroom. We only had one room on the second floor. We moved the beds up. We came back down. We got our electronics, and by the time I went down the second time, we had 18 inches of water. Within a half an hour, we had 3 feet, and by the morning, we had over 5 feet of water in the house.
So I assume you lost everything that you've ever known or had, or anything.
We had a china closet that came to this country with my grandmother in 1918 was destroyed. All the crystal that's in my family, all of our family photos, all of my kids' clothing, every stitch of clothing, everything. Our safe that we thought was watertight went out with it. So the kids' diplomas, birth certificate, everything's gone. We have nothing left.
Where's your house right now?
The house that we live in, that we lived in when it happened, it was condemned.
And is it sitting in the bay?
It's part of it is in the bay. Yes.
Part of it is in the bay
Yes.
as you speak, and now you're actually renting a home in
Surf City.
With your husband, who is a 911 responder.
9/11 first responder. Yeah.
He now has cancer.
Esophageal cancer. Yes.
He has esophageal cancer
Yep.
from that. So you're dealing with that. You're dealing with a husband who can't help you demo a home, and you're here at the distribution center, not getting supplies for yourself, but donating. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, because of the people found out about our story through an author that I love. Her name is Lori Notaro, and she has a pretty decent following, and they found out about our story, and they started taking a collection, and because of them, we got an abundance of donations, things that we could not possibly use in 10 lifetimes. So because of the kindness of strangers, we have all these extra things, all these amazing extras that, we couldn't even hope to use, but a lot of other families could use, so that's why we're donating.
Has FEMA helped you at all in this?
We wound up getting around $2,000 from FEMA, which was supposed to be our emergency living expenses to help us get into a new place to live, and that was only after wrestling with that. It's a fiasco, and now they're telling us that in order to get anything else, we have to file for an SBA loan.
Which is a small business loan.
Right, which I don't understand because we just lost everything, so now I have to start my life over again in debt further, which makes absolutely no sense, but I digress. But in order to do that, we have to apply, be denied, and then go through the whole process again, and it could take 6 to 8 weeks, in which time, anything... We're definitely going to be out of money. We have no furnishings, nothing. So everything that we have at this point is donations from other people.
How do you...
Oh, and we lost 5 cars.
You lost 5.
So of the $2,000, we had to spend part of that on a junk car just so we could get around because we have no transportation. And my husband needs to get to doctors at least once a week.
How do you, in the middle of sons that need help, your house, half of it is in the bay, you're renting a house, you have no possessions. How, and tomorrow's Thanksgiving, how are you dealing with this hell?
I'm laughing. I have no choice. What are the options? You give up, you roll over, you cry, you feel bad for yourself. Nothing. That's not going to accomplish anything. I am so blessed. I'm trying to look at this as a clean slate. I found out that strangers can be more kind and wonderful and warm than any friends or family could be. I've gotten, because of the kindness of strangers, because of the kindness of other people, and I sound like Blanche Devereaux, but I've come to notice that strangers are unbelievably kind and generous. And we have a lot to be thankful for. We're alive. We stayed that night up in that room, and I really thought the house was going into the bay. And I was never so scared in my life. Sorry.
No.
The room was shaking, the windows were breaking, and all we kept thinking was, if the windows go out, we're pulling the mattresses over the kids. And it might have been stupid, and in retrospect, a lot of people have said this, why did you stay? Number one, I wasn't leaving my kids at the firehouse. I was not leaving them on the island and then waiting 10 days to come back. And number two, how would my life have been different having left? It would have been different in a lot of ways. I would have not been able to salvage anything. My grandmother's china I was able to save. The china closet was shot, but I had a leg up. I was able to find a place to live because I was there, even though it's temporary. So I'm lucky, and there are people who are not as fortunate as we are.
I can't thank you for all your time today and answering some very difficult questions. No. Is there anything else that you feel the need that you have to say?
I just, honestly, they probably won't see this, but Governor Christie and President Obama, for all the talking about how everybody was going to help, this FEMA situation is not a good one. It has not improved. It is worse than anybody thought it was going to be. And frankly, the red tape to help people, I'm lucky because I have people who are willing to help me. Okay? There are people who are not as fortunate. There are people who are older and who cannot navigate this system. You need to make it easier. You need to help. There are people here that you don't even know exist. And it's unfair, and they need help. And that's it.
I agree. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks.